Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shank. He decided to re-tee. That's a shank. Oh, man.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what might be our favorite edition of the Two-Way Miss podcast every year. It is our Masters preview episode, so thank you, everyone, for joining us before the best 4 days of the golf season starts. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mr. Chris Regensbergen, and I am joined by the good buddy Banksy, looking stellar in his golf shirt and Masters hat. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Can't wait.
As we were just reminiscing, I don't think we, I don't know when, or I don't think we ever, people do those like Masters parties, like they have the theme, drinks and all that. I don't think we cared that much back when we started watching this together, did we?
Yeah,
I think
probably
it was just
not.
put anything in our hand and we're just going to sit back and watch golf for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're doing that again with not as much, alcohol fervor as back in our college days, but we're going to have a good time sitting back and having 9 windows of masters.com open at the same time
That's your website, man.
as we watch all the featured groups and all the holes and everything, and then just casually click in and see any shot that any person takes all 4 days.
So good.
Literally, again, it's easy when you have one tournament a year and an unlimited amount of money, it seems, but those old guys at the Masters, hire the right tech people and get this stuff figured out. They continue to have the best website, the best app, like just the best virtual viewing experience outside of the TV. And it's just year after year, they just keep getting better. I don't know how they do it. They must be just plucking people from like Google and Twitter and TikTok and all these places. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple different, more, I guess, modern commercials with different jingles, and songs with obviously you have your traditional Masters music, but I've also seen some other ads.
Yeah, it was very much trying to get a different kind of crowd into it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought so.
And now they're doing this stuff on Twitter where they brought in like No Laying Up and Shane Bacon to do these like Twitter spaces, essentially like these mini live podcasts that they're doing each night and bringing in golf writers and stuff like that. Like, again, Augusta, it was a place that started letting women in like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, they're not highly considered to be on top of the times, but
I don't even know if it was 20 years ago. I think
might have been less
than that.
Yeah, which is again is even worse.
And we'll have to get a spot down there someday. The Two-Way Miss at Augusta.
And listen, when those media passes get approved, we'll win ourselves a little B&B down there for the week. Be bringing it to you live from Augusta. It'll happen. It'll happen. So, as we said, this is our favorite 4 days of the golf calendar. We're very excited to be here talking about it with you all. We hope that you are as excited for the tournament as we are. We're going to do our tradition of kind of going hole by hole. We don't spend a lot of time on this, but we just go through each hole, kind of explain why it's important to the tournament, what our memories are about it, just what the hole is for those of you maybe that are watching their first or second Masters and haven't memorized every hole and every bunker and every, slope on all of the greens. We think it's a good just refresher as you go and watch this stuff on TV. Now, again, they'll do the flyovers. They'll do, things like that during the broadcast. But hopefully this just gives you a little more context on a couple of the holes. And maybe the next time you're watching it, you'll be able to be like, oh, yeah, that's where that happened, which is exactly what I did when I got there for the first time. I just went, I, of course, walked every hole. But I was like, oh, yeah, that's where that happened. And that's where that happened. And that's where Louis did this. And that's where Tiger did that. And that's where Phil did that. And that, you just go through and point at all the places that you remember people doing stuff. So then after that, we'll get into the odds. So what FanDuel thinks, who has the best odds to win the tournament. We'll go back over our picks for the tournament. And, we'll talk some cat as always as we get into it. So Let's start talking about the course, man.
Let's do it.
Number one, again, all these holes have dumb names, but we're just going to read them out for you just because it's funny. Hole number one, T Olive, a par 4, 445 yards up the hill is this one. I think the first thing that I think about this is that you don't realize the elevation change.
Yeah.
Until you're there in person, because from the camera angle, it looks very flat on TV. And that could not be farther from the truth. The tee box is way up here, and then there's this huge dip to where they let people cross the fairway at the bottom, and then it comes back up to that hill where the bunker, the bunkers are on the right and the left. Tiger seems to always find the bunker on the left every time he plays this hole. But it doesn't sort of, you don't get a sense of it until you're there. Or the bunker on the right, excuse me. He always ends up with the bunker on the right nowadays that he fades the ball. But again, slightly moving to the right. Again, not some crazy difficult hole, but one that Tiger specifically always seems to not par or birdie. He always bogeys this hole every time, it seems.
Yeah, I remember the one year, and I think it was actually one of the more recent years. And one of the rounds, I think he crushed, like he bombed one over that bunker on the right. It had like 90 yards in.
Yeah.
And flew it over the green and made double or something. So yeah.
Yep.
But Tiger's kind of had a history of that throughout his career, like getting off the slow starts and sometimes really making a mess of the first couple holes in tournaments. But that's nerves get to everybody, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think that not too many guys can carry that bunker, so they gotta squeeze it in between the fair, because the pine straw comes in pretty quick,
right,
on the left. So they gotta kind of place it in between the bunker and the.
It does kind of narrow up there after that bunker. Everything kind of gets squished in a little bit until it opens up again by the green. But you do have to hit the fairway if you want a shot at it. Again, it's hole number one, nothing crazy, but always interesting to see. It's always interesting to see Tiger play that hole and everyone else, but it does make me laugh every time because it's just so funny how he never plays it well. All right, hole number two, Pink Dogwood, par 5, 575 yards. This is a big number two hole up and around the corner to the left. And then when it does come, down the hill, it really does come down and kind of shoots down.
Yeah. Neat hole. Love seeing those guys hit a nice high draw and then getting the roll out. Again, I hope they do some of those ground level drone shots that we've been seeing, because that really gives you more perspective on how undulated. And I think that's one of the things, people that haven't been to Augusta and compared to what you see on TV, you just have no idea how hilly and undulated that golf course is. And I think those drone shots really help with that. And I think that'd be many holes on there.
Yeah.
It'd be neat to see that. But I love hole 2. As long as you miss that bunker on the right, most all these guys have an opportunity to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it in 2.
A little run up area in between the two bunkers that are in front of the green. But again, if they sort of hit that slot and get it down the hill pretty good, they're going for it.
Sure.
But again, 2 big bunkers kind of covering the front there. But a scoring opportunity almost instantly. Hole number 2 of par 5 is kind of one of the interesting quirks of the golf course as a whole. All right, next one. Hole number 4, 350. So just a little guy.
Hole number 3. Where are we at?
Oh,
We at
excuse me.
3?
Did I pick 3? Yeah, par 4,
Okay.
350 yards. My apologies. Flowering Peach is the name. Man, that's a terrible name. Goodness gracious. Just so bad. So this one's got those kind of inline bunkers in the fairway. There's 4 of them there. So obviously everyone's heading to the right of those to avoid it. Again, not that far of a hole, but absolutely just back way up the hill that you just kind of came down on 2. You went up, you're going up it on 1, you're coming down a little bit on 2, and now you're going back up it on 3. So you got to do all you can to not get it in those bunkers. But with how far guys are hitting it nowadays, everyone's pretty much putting it up there.
Yeah, it's a tough green. A lot of guys, they'll hit it, they'll bomb their drive, within 40, 50 yards of the green. But then it's a tough green.
Big fallouts on the back, which is typically where it'll catch some guys in like kind of a false front there on the left side. So again, I think it's a theme. All the greens are difficult at Augusta, but in this particular one, it's a short hole. It's a par 4. Guys are going to be bombing it up past those bunkers. The protection is that this green is tough to hit and tough to hold. So even with a wedge in their hands. Next one, number 4, par 3, 240 yards. 2 big, bunker left, big bunker on the right, protecting that pin on the green. Oh my God, Flowering Crabapple. Terrible name again. Goodness gracious. This one, little downhill again. Tee box is slightly above, the pin. It looks like it's on plane when you see it on TV. But again, it's not as bad as 6, which is like that, literally like a ravine in between them. But this one, 240 yards. The whole course is playing at 7,500 yards. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
With all the new additions and everything.
And that 240, you'll still see the majority of the guys hitting 5 and 4 iron.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably. There'll be some hybrids, but I don't think it necessarily plays 240.
The interesting thing will be with the weather that's coming in, if it does get colder, and all that, if these guys are going to have to take a longer club to hit it in there, it'll be interesting to see. But first par 3 of the day, right out on number 4. Next, hole number 5, Magnolia. This one is that I like this. I don't know why, but I like this hole. Again, pretty dogleg to the left, 2 bunkers protecting the left side of the fairway. Everyone's trying to, get it to the right and get it to sit up on top of there. Only 495, so not the longest hole in the world, but
plays long, doesn't it?
It does, because it's back.
This is 5? Yeah.
Yeah, this is 5. It
plays
does play longer
than
than you think, because you really can't. You can't cut the corner above the trees. The tee box is literally right on it. And again, that roll, you're trying to get the roll out, but everyone's got to hit. You got to hit a draw. Like, you got to hit a draw that's going to hit and go a little bit. But
and that big bunker on the left, there's no chance.
There's 2 of them. Yeah, you're dead.
There's no chance getting there in 2 if you're in those
huge lip.
bunkers.
Huge lip on those bunkers. So
yeah, good hole. Good tough golf hole.
Yeah. All right, number 6, par 3, 180 yards. This is the big one, way down the hill.
Yeah.
Players are perched way up there. A lot of people sit, like you can sit right on the hill and like just watch the shots go over your head, which is pretty cool. But 2-tiered green, bottom level, top level on the right, bottom level on the left. This one's a lot of fun. Especially when they put that pin on the right side up on that shelf, it's tough to hold it up there. And then if it goes left, it's just an impossible putt to get it back up there. Bunker protecting the left side as well. Not as difficult of a shot because you still can aim it kind of right and bank it off that hill and get it to feed, towards that left pin. But when they put that pin up on the right, it's tough. Even at 180 yards, down the hill. But an interesting one, I like that hole. All right, number 7. This one, straight right back up the hill. This green is the one that I think the green's the thing I enjoy about this one the most. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bunkers, 3 huge bunkers protecting the front. One on the backside, one to the left. This green is really tough to hit. Again, only at 450 yards. It's not the longest hole out there, but the green is just so cool. Just so protected by those bunkers. Any shot that's not almost perfect is going to end up in one of them. And then it's not a particularly easy up and down. And this hole, again, when you're there, if you sit at this hole, you can see it's one of the parts of the course with not a lot of trees. So when you're around this green, you can see kind of 360 all the way around you, and you can catch so much that's going on. It's a cool spot to post up for a little while if you're enjoying a very cheap beer, which is one of the great things about Augusta. All right. Next, number 8, par 5, 570. This one's a big boy. This is one of the big boy golf holes. So that, again, it's interesting because the shot, again, your tee shot's got to go up the hill. And then it's a real narrow green, like from front to back.
Mm-hmm. Which you can't see.
Exactly.
From your second shot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a blind shot way up there. Everyone's learned there's like those moguls on the right. There's a big hump to the left, which guys, unless they really pull something, not a lot of shots end up over there. A lot of shots end up to the right in those little moguls that are right next to the green. But like you said, the cool part about this is that it's essentially a blind second shot because you're going so far up the hill. But a real narrow green. Again, it's no bunkers or anything to penalize you when you get up there, but just lots of places you can get a not very good lie if you're bashing it up there with your second shot. But cool. It's fun to see. It's fun to watch those shots when they're behind the player and they gotta, you catch the golf ball rising up over the hill. Very cool. And again, hopefully something where they take advantage of those, new cameras that they got. All right, number 9. This one, again, coming, again, everyone starts up here. There's a big dip, which everyone gets down into, and then they're shooting back up way above their heads, to get back up to that green. Mm-hmm. So, again, not one of the most exciting holes that they have. It is a slight kind of, the green sits very to the left of where the tee box is, so you do have to push it through a little narrow chute, but there's a huge landing area that you can get to. Again, at only 460, it's not the longest hole in the world. But I think, the biggest thing about huge false front on this green, so if you miss it short, it's just rolling.
Yeah,
it's rolling gone right back down to you. And then 10. I like this hole for some reason. I don't know why.
I love the second shot.
Yeah.
On 10. I think that just the way the green sits and the bunkers and the trees, like I love the second shot on 10.
Yeah. This one is way back down the hill. So 9 takes you back up towards the clubhouse, the putting green and the first tee and all that. And then 10 shoots you right back down the hill into the valley. And I think the green is the most interesting part of this. In all the years I've watched it, I don't know if I still even know where the best place to put it is. People like sling it to the right and that thing shoots left like crazy a lot of the times, but then that takes into that tree that overhangs. Like guys will clip that and get into that bunker, and it makes it impossible because everything's going this way. To stop a bunker shot from over there. Of all the years of watching, I'm still not sure what the best shot is to go into that green, but it's just, again, just a cool hole. Really cool hole. So 11. This one's this starts Amen Corner down here at the very end of the property. So literally it's the farthest thing away from you when you walk in, you know, the patron entrance, I guess you could say. But this one's just such a cool hole because you almost forget that water's there on the left.
Yeah.
But it always seems to come into play at, you know, it's a par 4, but it's 520 yards. So the longest par 4 we've seen on the course so far. And it just, I really like this hole. You won't see a lot of, they will put the pin over on the left side, but most of the time you'll see guys bail out right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge runoff area to the right of this green that you'll see a lot of people be in. But every once in a while, that water comes into play out of nowhere. You almost forget that it's there, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, who went in the water?
Yeah, and again, it's a great second shot golf hole.
Yeah.
The view and with it being so long,
Right.
You know, it throws in that extra fact. Okay, these guys aren't hitting wedge into this green.
Yeah.
They're hitting like 7, 6, 5 iron,
Mm-hmm.
which does just bring all kinds of different things into play. Bailing out right, going left into the water, and it's not an easy tee shot.
No.
Because it is so long. Now, I guess I think they took some trees out on the right.
Yeah.
To kind of
open up that landing area over there.
Open it up a little bit, but it's not an easy tee shot. And then again, like the second shot on that hole is just it's neat to see. It's
Everyone's
awesome.
always thinking about that water. No one wants to go anywhere near it. So it's interesting, and if it does kind of get slower with the rain and things like that, these guys are going to have some long clubs into this hole.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to watch them squirm. Like, guys squirm on this hole. No one wants to be anywhere near that water. All right. So number 12, called Golden Bell. Obviously the iconic hole at the Masters over Regz Creek. Small green, little bunker in front, a couple bunkers in the back, the flower bed in the back. You know, plays at only 155 yards, so it's not, depending on the wind, and this is what everyone says, no one has any idea how to play the wind back here in this corner because it swirls, it goes everywhere. You never really understand why guys have such a problem with it, other than they just can't tell what the wind is doing. But look, man, if you miss it short, everything's getting in the water. So that and there's not a lot of room in the back. Like, that flower bed and those bunkers are not fun to play out of.
Yeah. And another narrow-ish green, so there's not.
It's got to be only 15 paces in the biggest spot from front to back.
Yeah, so
in that real narrow part in the middle, it's got to be like you could take 3 steps and be on the other side of the green.
Yeah, so not a lot of green to work with coming out of the bunkers or behind the green. And like you said, I mean, I don't know. We've seen Fred Couples. You know, the only significant time that the ball has ever stayed up on that bank,
right,
coming up short. I don't know. I mean, I don't recall seeing any other significant time where that ball has stayed on the bank short. Like you hit short, it's gone.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's a nice. I'm glad they shave it down. You know, it just adds to the excitement of that golf hole.
Yeah. It's
and it was an interesting thing they were saying too, because there's no fans down there. So
right.
I think Phil's old caddy Bones was explaining that you can't hear anything for a couple seconds till that sound travels. So, you know, you'll make a birdie on that hole and it's dead silent, and then all of a sudden, this wave
from across the
cheering. Yeah, so that was kind of a neat a neat story,
Yeah.
a neat feature to hear about that hole. That you feel just completely isolated down there until you can gather what's going on with the crowd
Yeah.
from behind you.
It's really, yeah, again, that's a great point. It's the one place that there's no fans when you get back to that green, and then on 13T, it's just you get sort of a moment of quiet, which all the players talk about. Great hole, obviously the iconic hole where so much has happened on this course to swing the leaderboard. All right, 13 Azalea. This is I think gonna be the one that I'm most interested in watching, because obviously it's brought the most change from last year to this year. So now playing 545, tee pushed way back up the hill. The tee shot now doesn't require as much of a slinging draw that these guys had to hit, which I kind of liked seeing guys have to shape the ball that way. It's just more fun when they're required to execute certain shots. But it is what it is. They've done what they've done. But I'm hoping it doesn't take away from the excitement of people trying to go for it. It's always so much fun seeing guys try and go for this one.
It's definitely going to make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of these guys have already said, it's a 3-shot hole, because a lot of them are going to be taking 3-woods off the tee because they can't hook their drivers.
Right.
And if it's going to be wet, they're not going to get that extra roll.
Yeah.
So they'll really have a decision to make. And, I don't know. At the same time, though, these guys can hit, 5-woods and 3-woods so high.
Yeah.
It's as long as their stance. Because, again, that fairway is significantly sloped right to left. Are you going to be able to... Are you going to take the chance of hitting a 3-wood, 250 yards,
right,
with the ball, 2 feet above your feet?
Yeah,
I don't. So yeah,
no,
it'll be
it's a great point.
Be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think a lot of guys, they're just gonna play it as a 3-shot hole, but yeah, it's gonna be great to see the guys that try and go for it.
Yeah, it's a great point that the fairway crazy undulates from right to left, so you really don't have a flat lie anywhere. So it's going to be really interesting what these guys are left with, and if anybody's going to attempt it. I think it kind of stinks that not as many people are going to try, just because of, like you said, the ball being so above their feet. But who knows? Maybe they'll figure out a place to put it if they still feel comfortable hitting it over there. All right, next one, 14. This one, the biggest thing, the green, the huge false front. They perched that pin back on the back tier. Huge green, though, from right to left. They really can put it almost anywhere. Relatively straight. Again, after Amen Corner, this is kind of a meh. Like, this hole is just kind of there. I don't know if there's much to talk about on this one, other than it's just kind of there. 15. This one's another great one. Love watching the guys hit it from up top of this hill down to that green, where it seems like you really have to hit an unbelievable shot to get it to stick on that green. There is a runoff area behind it, but then if you catch too much or it's coming in too hot, it's going into that pond on 16 off the back. Again, the creek in the front, so you can't be short. It'll roll back down into the creek, but you hit it up on top of the hill, and then you got to make a decision about what you're doing. But some great shots have happened on this hole with the tournament on the line, particularly Tiger. Seems to always.
Tiger and Jack in 86, big one. Yeah, I think I think Bubba the one year that he won hit a crazy good shot in there at one point. Yeah, you're right. It's a neat hole because that hole the guys do go for
Yeah.
into.
Mm-hmm.
And it is coming down the stretch. It can be a big momentum swing.
Yeah. All right, 16, the other iconic par 3 over the water all along the left. The big undulations in the green. If they put the pin in different places, you're aiming for different top shelves for the ball. You get the excitement of the ball kind of starting up here and then rolling down towards the pin,
Yeah.
and
The
seeing
Sunday
what
pin.
happens.
The Sunday pin makes that hole. I feel like the other 3 days that
Kind of is what it is.
It is what it is. But that Sunday pin where you can funnel the ball back down towards the hole, like there's nothing. Like that's a perfect pin placement for Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of tournament swings on this hole. So it always makes it a ton of fun. Again, no real changes to this, but just luckily they're leaving their par 3s pretty much alone, not doing anything crazy. All right, 17. This is just a straightforward par 4, back up the hill. I think the biggest thing about this is you got to hit the fairway. You got to, hit the ball down the chute. It's kind of a test after coming off 16, depending on what happened, where you just kind of got to step up and just hit some good shots. Again, nothing crazy about this hole. It seems like a pretty blah hole after going from 15 to 16 to this, almost like 14 is after, 11, 12, and 13. So, just kind of is what it is. And then 18, the classic finishing hole, tee box in that chute, just that chute of people that you got to hit it down up the hill and to the right, the green sitting way up there. Those bunkers on the left have become, much more in play than I feel like when we were younger, because guys can just reach them now really easily. So a lot of guys, if they're missing left, they're either missing in those bunkers or even farther left. And then the green with that Sunday pin on the front left, guys will aim to hit it either up they can hit it into the slope and kind of bring it back down, or leave it out to the right a little bit. I like the 18th hole. I think it's a good finishing hole. I think it requires you to hit two good shots.
Yeah, it has some drama to it. I mean, it's not a short hole. You got to be accurate off the tee. If you go too far right, you're kind of blocked out.
Yeah, you don't have a shot.
And if you go left, you're in those bunkers, and then I mean, and the green, it has some protection from some more bunkers, and that front left pin location. Yeah, it's a good finishing hole.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the hole by hole of the Masters. So in case you're, again, watching for the first or second time, maybe you can learn a little bit more about the holes, have a little bit of context going into the tournament. Let's get to the odds here on FanDuel, and let's kind of go through the top 15 or so and give a little bit what we think about these guys. So right now, FanDuel has Schefter and Rory at the same odds to win. I don't know if that's really practically true, but
same odds to win.
Huh? Yeah, plus 700 for both of them. I think Scotty would be the much safer bet, coming off winning this thing last year, playing as well as he's playing right now. I think Rory is the one that everyone wants to see do well and win, but maybe you could say he's playing better than he was, but I don't know how you give Rory the same odds as Scotty of winning this thing with how hot Scotty has been.
I don't know. Rory's my pick. So
I know you don't.
I'm not saying a word. I'm shit. I'll give it to Rory.
Well, my pick's right behind him in third at Rahm at plus 950. I think Scotty and Rahm, are kind of the top two here, just based on performance this year. again, we know everyone hopes Rory will play well. I don't know if he's proven that like he's on fire right now, like Rahm starting the year and Scotty for the past couple weeks. But the next one is where I get a little bit curious. Jordan Spieth, they have at 4th.
What?
I know that Jordan loves this place, but I don't know. This is not an informed pick. This is purely based on past performance.
Wow. How about it?
That's wild. And also it goes from Rahm at plus 950. Spieth is at plus 1700. So there's a huge jump from Scotty, Rory, and Rahm to the sort of the rest of the crew here.
Wow.
But kind of incredible. So after that, I'll just give you a couple names. In order, Cantlay, Justin Thomas. This is way too high for Justin Thomas. Finau, and then DJ, our first live guy.
Hey.
Firmly in the top 10. I think you got to give it to him until you kind of see how he plays. Obviously a past champion in, the Asterix, Masters.
Yeah.
Most
likely to forget his tee time on Sunday because he thought the third round was.
Or maybe he would forget Thursday, right? He's not used to showing up on Thursday.
He'd get disqualified right away.
He'd forget to set his alarm for Thursday. It'd be set for Friday.
Would there be a more DJ thing to happen?
No, that would be exactly what would happen.
If he forgot his tee time on Thursday.
That'd be fantastic. I think Thomas is too high. I don't know why he should be in like the top 7.
He hasn't proven anything on this golf course.
And hasn't been playing well, like not coming in with any kind of.
Yeah, and again, his bread and butter, what's been able to save him, wedges and putting is off. Not good.
Not very good.
Did he have a year where he finished pretty
if you
high?
do go back, and I was just listening to No Laying Up, and they were talking about Thomas a decent bit, and they went back through his last couple of Masters. He said like 2 top 10s in a row.
So he's hanging around, but never in contention.
No, it never feels like he's going to win the thing. Yeah. So I feel like that's high for him.
Like, it's strange though.
It is strange.
Maybe not necessarily now, because you're right. Like, he hasn't been playing well. I don't know what kind of Justin Thomas we're going to get, but in years past, it just seems like a golf course that he would play better at. So who knows? Yeah, there's way too many question marks around.
Yeah.
Around his game for me to have him in.
Yeah, totally with you.
Contention.
Totally with you there. Finau, I'm fine. Always seems to play better than usual at at Augusta.
Yep.
DJ, like, I got to see it, man. Like, let's see if you still know how to play golf or not. Yeah. Next couple: Xander, Cam Smith, Morikawa, Jason Day, Cameron Young, Max Homa. Cam Smith is another one. Like, we got to see it, man. Morikawa not coming in like playing great. Jason Day coming in playing maybe the best he's played in 9 years.
Yeah, but thrown into a situation like this, is he mentally mentally back into that? Like, okay, I'm here to win, or is more of like, hey, I'm just really happy to be here?
It could be a little of both. We'll have to see. And
he's still going through his swing change. He's not, you never know when that's going to mess with you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going through a swing change and something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Can't figure it out. So I hope he plays well, and I hope he is around. The putting's there. He's always got a good short game. So who knows?
We'll see. I'm
glad he's playing well.
Yeah. Same. Cam Young coming off the match play win. Right?
Yeah.
So. Right. He was in the final group, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's either him or somebody else won it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome until
Yeah,
it wasn't.
right.
And I think he maybe won
Yeah.
or was there.
Good
Yeah.
for him. Yep.
Yeah.
Homa's got to prove it at the majors, man. He historically has not shown up at these things. So he's a multiple time PGA Tour winner now. He's got to step up in the big boy event. So we'll see how it goes. Victor Hovland again, like he'll lead after the second round and then fade to nothing on the weekend. So we know how that goes.
but then pop up on Sunday.
Yeah,
and
randomly shoot like 66 on Sunday to finish 11th, right? Sung J M has played well in his couple masters. See how he does. Our boy Willie, he just can't putt.
Hey, and again, going through a swing change. I just heard coming
off the injury, yeah.
Yeah, just heard about it the other day. I mean, coming off a swing change, like it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna take, and the thought process too, is my back
right?
Does the back hold up? I don't. So and you're right, like he can't putt, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Brooks again, really got to see it, pal. Like,
boy, he really wore an ugly orange shirt.
He won the last live event, so everyone thinks he's in form.
Yeah. Did you see how hideous his shirt was?
Yes, I did.
One of the, like, what was that, man? It's like some kind of camo.
He's used to wearing the team shirts. He got out of his own. He got out of the box and he went nuts.
Boy, that was an ugly color.
Yeah, it was. Hideki again. Maybe he's done it before, but who knows? Fitzpatrick. I don't know his sort of past here. I don't know if it's always been great. He hasn't sort of been towards the top of the leaderboards generally. Justin Rose always seems to play good at Augusta for no reason, just comes out of nowhere and he'll have a top 15.
Yeah, and we've had a couple Justin Rose sightings this season.
Yeah, didn't he win? What did he win? He won.
So yeah, who knows? He might be on the leaderboard for a day.
Yeah, and then our boy Tiger.
Pebble Beach.
Yes.
Oh. Hey.
Our boy Tiger, plus 7,000. Let's count all the people he's above. Joaquin Neiman, Patrick Reed, which is fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Adam Scott, Sahith Tagala, Bryson, Keegan, Louie, Abe Answer, Sergio, Danny Willett. God, I can't believe he won one of these.
2016.
Bubba, Gary Woodland, Horschel, Harold Varner, Phil. Goodness gracious. Just a lot of he's above a lot of people. What does he honestly have a shot? Let's just put it out there. Let's figure this out. Does he honestly have a shot?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Why? What do you think?
I hope it just, and it, apparently the leg is really bothering him.
Yeah.
Now, is that to add drama to the whole situation? Or is it really that irritating? And I'm in the situation where I hope he makes the cut and then is able to finish the next 2 days.
Yeah.
As opposed to withdraw. Let's say he makes the cut, shoots, 76 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see a withdrawal?
Yeah.
On Sunday? I don't know if he would do that at the Masters because this will be the last time we see Tiger till maybe the Open. I don't know if he'll play in the PGA or the US. I just don't know. It just seems it makes me nervous with him and some other people outwardly saying, yeah, like the legs just, it's painful, like
Yeah.
it's bothering him. So that kind of sucks. I mean, he looked good. He was all smiles. He walked the golf course. He
Yeah,
can't.
you wonder how long that adrenaline can stick around.
Yeah, he can't win. And again, if the leg injury didn't happen, I think he'd be right. I think he would be completely.
Yeah, because his back was like really okay.
Yeah, we haven't heard a peep about his back.
Yeah.
So if he had two good legs, I absolutely say he is maybe not a front runner, but
still
he's
capable.
in that
Yeah.
group of guys. I don't have that feeling that the leg is going to allow him
Yeah.
to compete to a level where he can win, because golf is so hard thinking your way around the golf course, but then to have that annoyance of a
Yeah, I mean,
pain.
yeah. Nobody has fought through more pain on the golf course than Tiger Woods.
Right, what's that for Bryson when he got hit in the face with that
Well,
rope?
of course. I mean, how could you forget?
Tiger's leg
Tiger
and knee
without an ACL slash,
and back, and Bryson and the rope
Right.
are right.
They're neck and neck.
They're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there.
You're right. My apologies to Bryson for forgetting, about his traumatic experience there.
That was a very traumatic experience.
It was.
I think some of the rope fibers got in his eye.
Yeah. Listen,
Like,
it's dangerous stuff.
He almost went blind. Like, it was a whole.
Who's going to watch your YouTube of a blind golfer? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'll be tough.
Livelihood was at stake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my apologies, of course, to Bryson.
Who, by the way, I don't know if you watched any of the par 3 contests. Some of the worst wedge shots from him I've ever seen in my life. Like,
that's fantastic.
I might have been able to hit better wedges than him.
That's
I don't
great.
know. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
That's fantastic.
But, oh my God, he was awful.
That's great. Love to hear it. Again, no one has played through more pain on the golf course than Tiger Woods. So the amount that he can mentally withstand, I don't think any of us are capable of truly comprehending. But like, we've seen it when it goes bad, and it got bad at the Masters last year. Like, he did not look good. Obviously, we're a year removed from that, but it's going to be one of those things everyone's going to be watching the first time he slips, and especially if it gets wet, his footing, like what happens if he slips awkwardly or whatever happens. It's just, I hope he makes the weekend. I hope he sticks around. Like, if he gives us a top 15, it's an all worldly performance.
Yeah. The good news is it seems that he has the swing speed. The swing looks really good.
Yeah.
And powerful and in control. It's just, what is that leg really feeling like? And it's not something that's really ever going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, always rooting for the cat. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we just see him on Saturday and Sunday. And, in as little pain as possible. All right. Let's recap our picks, and we're going to I want each of us to do a little sort of, 2-minute thing here on how we still feel about it. So you went ahead and picked, again, we made these picks back when before the season even started, just going off our gut of who we thought would win the majors. Your pick at the time was Rory McIlroy. How you feeling about it? What do you truly think his chances are? And,
I feel fantastic.
There you go.
And the guy's been so close in the British Open, lost, or the Open. We can't call it the British Open anymore.
How dare
Whatever.
You?
The Open, just missed it. Okay. This year at the Arnold Palmer, just missed the putt. Like, he's right there. The match play, right there. Like, the guy is due. he's due. He's had so many close calls. You know, and he's playing well. Like, so a guy like that who's been that close and playing as well as he has been playing, he's just freaking due. And if we do get the weather, that is 1,000,000% in his advantage because he can hit that driver. Like, he has such an advantage. Even if the ball's sticking, great. Not the best wedge player. Greens are softer. Maybe get a lot of rain. He's just throwing darts. He's got all the confidence in the world in that new blade putter that he's got.
Yep.
I feel great. I feel great about my pick.
Awesome. Love the confidence. Love it. All right. I picked Mr. Rahm. He obviously started the season on absolute fire. Looked like the greatest golf. Again, back to being the greatest golfer on the planet. Has cooled off recently. Had to withdraw from the players with an illness. Not driving the ball great after the Genesis. Really after that, win. Kind of lost a little bit. I still feel supremely confident. I think him and Scotty are the top two best, picks to win this thing. There's just not a lot of things he doesn't do well, and I think he plays great at this course. I wish he was coming in hot like Scotty? Like, of course I do, but we're not in a season where Rahm has just kind of been lingering at like top 20s or top 30s. Like, the dude didn't miss a top 5 for like 6 straight events he played in. And he won 3 of them. So I truly do think that it's either him or Scotty that win this thing. So I'm pleased with my pick. I'm glad he's coming in, showing form this season. Do I love how the past couple of weeks have gone? No, but do I think it was all kind of leading up to this? Absolutely, I do. So I feel very good about the Rahm pick. Still to this day.
Good. Excellent. And just for the hell of it, you have to pick one live player to win.
Ooh.
Who are you taking? If you have to pick one live player to win.
Cam Smith. I just think
that's who I was thinking too.
I just think he has it in him to come into this tournament and just be like, I'm still better than you guys.
Yeah.
And just will actually just have a fuck you on his shoulder and be like, that's right, I left at my absolute peak and I'm still better than you guys.
Yeah. And he's the closest guy that has left. Like, he left at his peak.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Literally at the peak.
And he left later in the season. It's not like he started the year.
Right.
Or last year with Liv. Like, he left towards, so that would have been my pick as well. Cam.
I think if you had to pick one more, I think you gotta give it to DJ.
Give it to DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the great unknown.
Yeah. We have no idea the form. Like, are they practicing? Yep. Do they even try anymore? Like,
yeah.
I could believe any scenario.
By the way, because I just had to see what, you hear all the commentators, you hear all the back and forth, there's no competition, they're playing for nothing.
Yeah.
I recorded a round of Live Golf on the CW.
On the CW.
Apparently I get that channel. And I will tell you, it looks like nothing. It looks like an exhibition.
Yeah.
The courses look awful.
Yeah.
They're all wearing shorts and they're playing these rinky-dink resort courses that it looks like a joke. Like it just looks like a practice round.
Yeah.
And you got your side screen
Yep.
with explosions and
Yeah.
fireworks.
Right.
And, the commentary sucks. The
Oh
commentary.
my God, it's such kiss ass.
Even Faraday.
Yeah.
Like, boy, you've lost all your charm.
Yeah.
You said,
Yeah. Really.
It was bad. It was as bad. And I went into it trying to have an open mind, like, oh, I'll get to see Dustin and I'll get to see
Yeah.
Brooks. And it was terrible. It was awful. I turned it off.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was something. So you have no idea what kind of form these guys are going
Yeah.
to be in. And to be honest, I don't think I don't think they I don't think they're doing anything where it's like, okay, I feel super prepared.
Yeah, right.
For the Masters.
Yeah.
And one more interesting side note from the Champions Dinner. I don't know if you saw this at all, but apparently Phil didn't say a word.
I didn't see that.
All night.
He's just turned into such a shell.
He sat at the end of the table, one of the ends of the table, barely said a word all night. And for people that know Phil, like think about the person that you know in your life that talks the most.
Yeah,
and
right.
Having them not say a word.
Right.
So, and I saw it from a few different sources, so I'm assuming it's true for the most part. But yeah, what a weird,
Isn't that just crazy?
Yeah. So
wild. Well, it's going to be great. I can't wait to put up all my windows at 8 a.m. and watch this thing. It's going to be the best. We hope that you all enjoy. It's literally our favorite 4 days on the entire golf calendar. So we hope that you have fun. Again, thank you for listening, watching, whatever you do. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a follow. Leave a rating for us. It really helps get us out there. Share it with any of the golf lovers in your life. We appreciate you all. You can follow the network on Instagram at B&B Podcast. You can follow Mr. Fairbanks at FairbanksC23 on Instagram. I am at Big Regz with a Z on Twitter. You can also follow the Two Way Miss on Twitter also. So, everyone, I would play the Augusta music if we wouldn't get copyrighted and sued, but just picture it in your head, play it in your mind as we kind of sign off here. Enjoy the Masters, enjoy the next 4 days. We will be back next week to recap the whole thing. So enjoy your time at the beautiful Augusta National, and we will catch you next week.
Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shake. He decided to re-tee. That's a shake.